absolutely gorgeous, and it's now legal for me to kiss you entirely, and that's, I won't do that though. But thank you for coming in on this. Summer's arrived, isn't it? Remarkable, yay! Yes, finally, after the Ice Age we've experienced. No, it's great, it's lovely, thank you so much for coming. Do we have anyone not been to the Baba Bar before? Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness me. Right, okay, well this is excellent news, because the thing is, the format of the show is that, you might have heard this, I have 3 speakers and they come up to the stage and they share their passion with us for about 15 minutes each. So if you just want to take a bit of time, have a think about your passion, those of you that showed your hands, and then when you're ready, just... No? Okay. No, I'm only joking. But there is a waiting list to do a Bavard, so contact me if you want to, and I'll put you on that list. But last month, I don't know if you were here last month, but it was the 5-month anniversary of the Bavard Bar last month, which was very exciting. Probably deserves a cheer. Thank you very much. 5 years. What did I say? Did I? Jeez. I've taken nothing, but anyway, there you go. 5 years, 5 months. Well, we can celebrate that. 5 years. Yeah, it's gone in 5 months. It was 5 years, which was marvellous and surprising. But no, it was a wonderful thing. And I did, at last month's Bava Bar, I did a quick resume of those 5 years, and I didn't go into all the detail, we would still be there. But, and we've had some amazing talks, as I said, that night, and ranging from crop circles all the way through to bum reading. Anybody come for the bum reading talk? And it was a thing, it is a thing, and it was amazing. Sachi Kimura Lawson told us how you can read bottoms, and she read my bottom. That's another story. But it was a fabulous talk that she gave. And I was reminded, as I was going back through the kind of archives, it's all on the website, you can see all the past bavards there. And I was reminded of the talk we had by the wonderful Sophie Mayer, who gave a talk about chocolate. Anyone here for the chocolate talk? Yeah, and she gave out samples of chocolate, which is really, really good, because one of my speakers tonight is giving a talk about heroin and hash cakes. So, I'm only joking, he's not talking about hash cakes, just the heroin. No. So anyway, I will reveal the talks shortly and tell you what they are. But before I do that, I just want to tell you what I've been up to, just very briefly. And obviously, probably like many of you, I have done my studious best to avoid the Jubilee. In fact, much like Prince Andrew, although it's probably not the best comparison to make with myself. But yeah, I did, yes. Well, they said, well, he got COVID-19, I don't believe it. Yeah, I think that's way too old for him. I knew... Just testing. But it does, of course, still tell us that COVID is still circulating in schools, doesn't it? That's what that is. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, Neil, you can go with your smutty captions tonight. I think they're right on it. Yes, anyway, but I did. I kind of avoided the Jubilee, and I took extreme measures to avoid it. I went up to Yorkshire, and I did the wonderful Dales Way. I don't even know the Dales Way. Anybody from Yorkshire? Because if you are, I'm in big trouble. No, I'll go with no. Anyway, I went up and I did the Dales Way, or some of it, which is beautiful. It follows the River Wharfe, and it ends up in the Lake District. I didn't do all of it. And I slept in pubs on the way. I mean, when I say I slept in pubs, I didn't just get pissed and fall asleep in the bar. I had booked ahead. But I got to this. I mean, it's beautiful. It's sort of bucolic English countryside following the River Wharfe. And I got to, the first village I stayed in was a village called Appletreewick, which I think is Aptwick, is what the locals say. Very pretty, charming village, and I stayed in this lovely little pub, except I arrived quite late, quite tired, quite hot with my pack, and I arrived at the pub, and there was a sign outside the pub, and those of you that come to the Baba Bar regularly know that I do like a sign. And this sign said, 16 different ales, we don't serve halves, only pints. And so I went into this bar, and it was quite quiet. It was just quite clearly the landlord was behind the bar. And so I just said to him, well, could I have so I was quite hot, I said, can I have a sparkling elderflower? And he looked at me, and obviously I can't give you the look that he gave me, but the surprise and just general disappointment and shock in his face when I said those. I did ask for a pint, in fairness, but it still didn't work. But, and then anyway, I moved on up the valley, and I ended up in a village, well, the next one I think was Kettlewell, which is really charming. And in fact, years ago, I did some fell races in Kettlewell, and I remember I was quite looking forward to going back there because I hadn't been there for years. And it's a really, really charming village, but it's really changed because I was wandering through it and I needed to get some food, and there was a converted cowshed, and I was able to go to this converted cowshed and order an oat milk flat white with sourdough toast, smashed avocado, and poached eggs. And I kid you not, that's absolutely true. That's what I ordered in the rural farming village of Kettlewell, which is now more hipster than St Leonard. So that's the thing. But I must just, I'm not even, yeah, here we go. So I must tell you this, yes, this pub, sorry, I've just missed the thing. Because I was going to show you the sign, you know the sign with the pints that they only serve pints. I took this because I was looking for the sign to show you. I took this from the pub's website where I stayed. Forget the text. 6 beautiful ensuite rooms, and that's the image. And I found that this morning. I thought, well, I've got to show you that because anyway, there we go. Now, what's next? Because where am I going? Yes. So then, what I did, moving up the valley. I went to Grassington. Have you been to Grassington? It's very pretty. I think they filmed All Creatures Great and Small. It's very pretty. It's very posh, actually, in Grassington. Anyway, I had time to kill. And what I discovered doing this sort of Dale's Way is that the Yorkshire villages, they do love a little village museum. And I know, and I would encourage you, whenever you're in Yorkshire or anywhere and there's a village and a village museum, have a look because they have some cracking stuff. So this, I mean, there was so much stuff in this one. There's too many things for me to take a photograph of. But you can't see down here, but it says it's a head massaging machine with attachments. And I read back, it was something, I think, turn of the last century, this is what they did in Grassington. They used this to massage their heads. Now that's great. The next village I went to, though, was, maybe not the next one, but anyway, another village I ended up in, the village of Dent. Have any of you been to Dent? Because if you haven't, it's ridiculously pretty. And it's in the beautiful village, valley of Dendale. And it's ridiculously pretty. It's very, very small. In fact, it's so small that the museum is bigger than the village, because they have their own little village museum. And I kid you not, it was virtually as big as the village itself. But I went in, I had time on my hands in Dent, and I went into their village, and I discovered this folk song. I don't think you see it. The Terrible Knitters of Dent. And there's so much stuff in this museum, and I don't really do details, so I can't, it's all very interesting and stuff, But anyway, I was drawn to these Terrible Knitters of Dent. I thought, well, were they really that shit? But anyway, I had a look. I delved into it a little bit, and it turns out, no, that they're using the word terrible there to indicate that they were very fast. And in fact, what they did, I think it was turn of the last century, was to make ends meet. And it wasn't just women, it was men as well that did this knitting. So they did, I think I spoke to the curator who tried to convince me they weren't terrible. But then I came across the terrible knitters. And there they are, Betty and Elizabeth. And I don't know, but I'm looking at their fashion, and now I'm kind of reviewing the use of that word terrible, because it's, I don't know what's on her head, but I guess she knitted it. Anyway, that's how I avoided the Jubilee. So there you go.